Hi. Okay, I think we're somewhat some semblance of where we're supposed to be. Hey everyone. Welcome back. I know it's been over a week, but I have been out of sorts and I'm sure you can probably hear in my voice that I'm not 100%. Um and I think it's still playing an ad, I think. Well, we'll roll with it. Um yes. Oh, welcome in, copyright. It's been a minute. Let's see. Let's say hello to everybody. So, Almontis, Brem MC, Casman, copyright, Duskane, Diaskane, Deuce. It's Deuce. Dizzy Dreamer 78, Haydon, Kintron Valdgridge, another amazing reading streamer here on Twitch. Hopefully you all can actually see me. We've got Neff Darath, the lore keeper, quite possibly my favorite librarian here on Twitch. We've got Starry Fina and Stream Elements. Thank you, Stream Elements, for doing things. Yep, ads. We are dealing with ads, so I'll just say hello and drink some water. Maybe push some more buttons that I'm not supposed to. Welcome back. Yep, I think it was still mid-ad. I'm not entirely sure, but I wanted to get into things cuz like a lot of things have been happening behind the scenes despite my being sick. First and foremost, I have been brought on as part of Gen 2 for the Underrealm. So Underrealm is I would consider it like a community of VTubers, a lot of which are based in the UK. Um, the first gen is pretty much all UK based. They were a group of friends that got together, I believe, after COVID, and they're like, "Hey, let's make a group of gamers and streamers, and they do variety content. Wildosis, you've probably seen. Tiny Draculina, of course, you've probably seen. Aloria, Red Lethal Panda, and then there's a couple other people, Deuce Brickinson, um, Valen, Valendorian, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And then my brain is just completely left me. My memory has just been absolutely shot since I've been 6. 6 ads of 9. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Let me grab this real quick. So Devi, it's just Devi is the other fellow. Yes, I gotta catch them all, Prem. Gotta catch them all. Um, please ads, please stop. Please stop all the ads. Yeah, it's been a while. I've had to reconfigure everything. I'm not entirely sure how stable my internet is. I also realized at some point I must have switched from 1080p to 720p streaming. So hopefully we fix that. Um, a lot of things in the works as far as like surprises. So if you're here and now, you'll know that I've got a live 2D model that has been in the process for almost a year, and it's rigged. We're kind of finalizing back and forth little things right now, and I'll do a reveal for that um, sometime in the near future. I'm thinking like maybe at 1,000 followers. That gives me a little bit of time to get some art done and get a couple more parts and pieces set up. But yeah, I'll be able to emote and I'll be able to like do more than just, look up and look down with my PNG tuber. Down, up, down, up. Yes, I'll be able to do a little bit more with it. And I think they did a really good job. Um uh and I'll have a couple of different outfits that I can swap to and hairstyles and stuff, and just kind of like overall pretty good. Pretty good. So first things first, I wanted to show this little video. So this was put together by Wilde, I believe. The Gen 2 Awakens. I'll put pause here. So this is Arosita. So Arrow is a celestial bubble, and variety streamer. They do mostly gaming, I think, for the most part. From what I've seen and interacted with them, they've been on Wilde and Tiny's streams a few times. They're super, super nice. It's a me! And then, so this is Ken Arashi. So they are a shark VTuber, shark Yakuza. There's some really cool lore there where like they were a shark minding their own business and they were struck by like lightning and turned into a human being, and now they're doing everything a Yakuza boss would do but doing it wrong, and they are high energy and so much fun, and I really look forward to collabing with them in the future. So if you haven't checked them out before, you definitely should. This is Luca Nasu. Luca is another Oni, like Aloria is, but I think Aloria is a purple Oni, and I think Luca is like a mixture of like purple, it's like blue and red Oni to make purple. I'll just back that up just a little. There we go. So let's do shout out for Arosita. I'll have that ready and we can watch some of their clips. But yeah, so Luca, another, like, they're kind of more horror based. I think they were playing Minecraft earlier today, but super chill, super kind, really easy to talk to. They've actually been helping me a lot behind the scenes with kind of putting together my preview for my live 2D. Just an absolute gem of a human, well, of an Oni. An absolute gem of an Oni. Yeah, she is. She's if she's still streaming later, I'm gonna try and go as far as I can today, but my lungs are still messed up, so I might only be able to read for a couple hours instead of 3 or more. So sorry for the coughing. But yeah, so that's Luca. And then we have Trist. So Trist is a cockatrice. A cockatrice. Legendary, monster VTuber, really chill. Also Ace's voice, and we love our worm colors. And the red hair with the blue details. Super chill voice actor, variety gamer. They've been playing some Hunt lately, but I think they do that mostly for collabs. They're honestly one of the nicest streamers that I've met. I was really surprised because like Arosita I saw coming from a mile away. I honestly thought that Arosita was Gen 1 from the get-go because I've always seen them around, and then Ken Arashi was no surprise as a Gen 2 either. But Trist, Luca, hey Bone, thanks for the resub. 9 months? It's been 9 months already. My goodness. I think I just re-upped my sub on your channel too fairly recently. But Trist, Luca, and then the last streamer, which we'll see here in a second, were all surprises, and I'm stoked across the board. I think the lineup is all talented, fun, kind, like mature streamers that all of them are just aces. That I think Wilde and their team, Gen 1, knew what they were doing when they put us together. And then last but not least is another... This is Yuki Sukimori. Yuki is another cat girl streamer like myself, but she is a snow leopard baker, and she is so cute. I love her avatar, and I just think she's just the kindest, most sweet person. She is actually based out of Japan, so we're the full gambit from one end of the planet to the other. Like me in Alaska, we had a few that are in the east coast of the US, then Ken we've got in the UK, and then Yuki in Japan. So our gen is just like a whole planet. All we need is like an Aussie to round it all out, and we'd cover pretty much just everywhere. But yeah, Yuki speaks Japanese. I do live in Alaska. So they are a baking streamer. They also do gaming, variety. They're just super chill and super, super sweet. We'll have to see how many clips the clipper will let me play. It might, what is the word? The shout out player sometimes will like yell at me if I do too many shout outs all at once. But yeah, Yuki is super sweet, and I'll do shout outs for everybody here. Yep. And you should join the Discord, and !Underrealm 1R will get you a link directly to the Discord. But yeah, they've got tons of events. Gen 1 is always streaming. Gen 2 is always streaming. I feel like I'm the weakest link because I've been sick. Hi, Boogie. I am not, but I am getting better, so I will take it. Yeah, you've been watching all of them since the announcement. That's awesome. They're all, like I said, really great, wonderful people, and they all have such a wide spectrum of knowledge and skills, and they're all really nice. I think that's like the prerequisite for Underrealm is like, all right, Gen 2, they gotta be like good people, or they're not gonna make it, or something. I'm not sure what the prerequisites were, because there's like no rhyme or reason. We've got streamers that do variety gaming, we got streamers that are like hype men, like me, I'm a librarian who mostly does reading streams, and then Yuki, who mostly does like cutesy content, and Luca's doing all of the cool horror stuff. It's a whole variety. Hi. All right, I'll close that. Okay, so what we're here for today is we're going to return to the poetry of Oscar Wilde. Big hype. I know it doesn't sound like it in my voice because, I'm sick. I just can't seem to quit that last little bit of pneumonia or whatever it is. Hi, Fallen. Welcome in. Cooks, Fallen, wonderful seeing you both. Here, I'm gonna drink some more of my protein shake. Sick at reading and streaming. Hey! Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, I'm getting better a little bit every day. Last Monday I was down and out. Not a couple of days ago, but last week on Monday I was laid up pretty bad. Monday was everything under the sun. I was a miserable amoeba that barely could get out of bed for the day. Fever broke Tuesday. I was still pretty bad shape, but at least I was able to actually keep things down, like water and soup. I will not be eating chicken soup for a while. I think that is not in the cards. But had some minestrone, had some broth, had been trying to keep the protein up because, like eating solid foods has been a little bit rough. Um, doing my best. Incidentally, today I'm trying something new. It is a plant based protein by Koya, Koia. It is their cocoa bean flavor. It's 18 grams of protein per bottle. It's got a little bit of sugar in it, but it's not too bad. But it's like soy free, gluten free, kosher, vegan. But yeah, it's got 4 grams of sugar in it, and most of which is fiber. So, hey, a little fiber goes a long way. All right. I think we're here for some poetry, and we'll see how well I can knock this out of the park. So, all right. So we're going to start with The Burden of Ittis, I think. The Burden of Ittis. The Burden of Ittis. This English Thames is holier far than Rome. Those harebells like a sudden flush of sea, breaking across the woodland with the foam of meadow sweet and white anemone. To fleck their blue waves, God is likelier there than hidden in that crystal-hearted star the pale monks bear. Those violet, gleaming butterflies that take yon creamy lily for their pavilion are monsignors, and where the rushes shake, a lazy pike lies basking in the sun, his eyes half shut. He is some mit-read old bishop in Partibus. Look at those gaudy scales, all green and gold. The wind, the restless prisoner of the trees, does well for Palestrina, one would say. The mighty master's hands were on the keys of the Maria organ which they play, when early on some sapphire Easter morn, in a little litter red as blood or sin, the Pope is born. From his dark house out to the balcony, above the bronze gates in the crowded square, whose very fountains seem for ecstasy to toss their silver lances in the air, and stretching out weak hands to east and west, in vain sends peace to peaceless lands, to restless nations rest. Is not yon lingering orange afterglow that stays to vex the moon more fair than all, Rome's lordiest pageant strange a year ago? I knelt before some crimson cardinal, who bare the host across the Esquiline. And now those common poppies in the wheat seem twice as fine. The blue-green bean fields yonder, tremulous, with the last shower sweeter perfume bring through this cool evening than the odorous, flame-jeweled censers the young deacons swing, when the gray priest unlocks the curtained shrine and makes God's body from the common fruit of corn and vine. Poor Fra Giovanni, bawling at the Mass, we're out of tune now, for a small brown bird sings overhead, and through the long cool grass I see that throbbing throat which once I heard on starlit hills of flower-starred Arcady, once where the white and crescent sands of Salamis meet sea. Sweet is the swallow twittering on the eaves, At daybreak, when the mower whets his scythe, and stock doves murmur, and the milkmaid leaves her little lonely bed, and carols blithe to see the heavy lowing cattle wait, stretching their huge and dripping mouths across the farmyard gate. And sweet the hops upon the Kentish leas, and sweet the wind that lifts the new mown hay, and sweet the fretful swarms of grumbling bees that round and round the linden blossoms play, and sweet the heifer breathing in the stall, and the green bursting figs that hang upon the red brick wall, and sweet to hear the cuckoo mock the spring, while the last violet loiters by the well, and sweet to hear the shepherd Daphnes sing the song of Linus through a sunny dell, of warm Arcadia where the corn is gold, and the slight lithe-limbed reapers dance about the wattled fold. And sweet with young Lycoris to recline, pardon, in some Illyrian valley far away, where canopied on herbs amaracine, we too might waste the summer tranced day.
Hi, Gara 13 gifted 5 subscriptions to the community.
Hey, Gara. Where have you been? Thank you. Thank you for the subs. I'm not at top form today, but I'm doing my best. Thank you. Thank you for the subs. I appreciate it. Deuce. Deuce, yes. paying your dues. Yes, you are. Well, thank you. Thank you for your ongoing support. I'm sorry I'm not at 100% for you today. I'll do my best. Where canopied on herbs amaracine, we too might waste the summer tranced day, matching our reeds in sportive rivalry, while far beneath us frets the troubled purple of the sea. But sweeter far, if silver-sandaled foot of some long-hidden god should ever tread the Nuneham meadows, if the reeded flute, pressed to his lips, some fawn might raise his head. By the green water flags, ah, sweet indeed, to see the heavenly herdsman call his white-fleeced flock to feed. Then sing to me, thou tuneful chorister, though what thou singest to thine own requiem. Tell me thy tale, thou hapless chronicler of thine own tragedies. Do not contemn these unfamiliar haunts, this English field, for many a lovely coronal our northern isle can yield. Which Grecian meadows know not may a rose. Hi, Dizzy. Welcome in.
Hydrate or
Yes,
dihydrate?
I will hydrate. Which Grecian meadows know not many a rose, which all day long in vales alien a lad might seek in vain for overgrows, our hedges like wanton courtesan, unthrifty of its beauty, lilies too. Ilyssus, never mirrored star our streams and cockles blue. Doth the green wheat which, though they are the signs for swallows going south, would never spread their azure tents between the Attic vines, even that little weed of ragged red, which bids the robin pipe to in Arcady, would be a trespasser and many an unsung eulogy. Elegy. No, I'm pretty sure it's eulogy. And many an unsung elegy sleeps in the reeds that fringe our winding Thames, which to awake were sweeter ravishment than ever syrinx wept for diadems of brown bees studded orchids, which were meant for Cytherea's brows, are hidden there, hidden here, unknown to Cytherea, and by yonder pasturing steer. There is a tiny yellow daffodil. The butterfly can see it from afar, although one summer evening's dew could fill its little cup twice over ere the star had called the lazy shepherd to his fold, and be no prodigal, each leaf is flecked with spotted gold. As if Jove's gorgeous lemon Danae, hot from his gilded arms, had stooped to kiss the trembling petals, or young Mercury, low flying to the dusky ford of Dis, had with one feather of his pinions just brushed them, the slight stem which bears the burden of its sons. Is hardly thicker than the gossamer, or poor Arachne's silver tapestry. Men say it bloomed upon the sepulchre of one I sometimes worshipped, but to me it seems to bring diviner memories of fawn-loved Halconian glades and blue nymph-haunted seas. Thank you for the emotes. Of an untrodden vale at where on Tempe, of an untrodden vale at Tempe, where on the clear river's marge Narcissus lies, the tangle of the forest in his hair, the silence of the woodland in his eyes, wooing that drifting imagery which is no sooner kissed than broken, memories of Salmacis. Who is not boy or girl, and yet is both, fed by two fires and unsatisfied, through their excess, each passion being loth, for love's own sake, to leave the other's side, yet killing love by staying, memories of Oreads peeping through the leaves of silent moonlit trees, of lonely Ariadne, of lonely Ariadne on the wharf at Naxos, when she saw the treacherous crew far out at sea, and waved her crimson scarf, and called false Theseus back again, nor knew that Dionysus on an amber pard was close behind her, memories of what Messonia's barred with sightless eyes beheld the wall of Troy, Queen Helen lying in the ivory room, at her side an amorous red-lipped boy, trimming with dainty hand his helmet's plume, and far away the moil, the shout, the groan, as Hector shielded off the spear and Ajax hurled the stone. Of winged Perseus with his flawless sword, cleaving the snaky tresses of the witch, and all those tales imperishably stored in little Grecian urns, freightage more rich than any gaudy galleon of Spain, bear from the Indies ever, these at least bring back again. For well I know they are not dead at all, the ancient gods of Grecian poesy, the ancient gods of Grecian poesy. They are asleep, and when they hear thee call will wake and think 'tis very Thessaly. This Thames, the Daulian waters, this cool glade, the yellow irised mead where once young Itys laughed and played. If it was thou dear jasmine-cradled bird, who from the leafy stillness of thy throne sang to the wondrous boy until he heard the horn of Atlanta faintly blown, across the Cumnor hills, and wandering through Bagley Wood at evening, found the Attic poet spring. Ah, tiny, sober-suited advocate, that pleadest for the moon against the day, if thou didst make the shepherd seek his mate on that sweet questing, when Proserpina forgot it was not Sicily and leant, and forgot it was not Sicily, and leant across the mossy Sandford stile in ravished wonderment. Light-winged and bright-eyed miracle of the wood, if thou didst soothe with melody one of that little clan, that brotherhood which loved the morning star of Tuscany more than the perfect son of Raphael, and is immortal, sing to me, for I too love thee well. Sing on. Sing on, let the dull world grow young, let elemental things take form again, and the old shapes of beauty walk among the simple garths and open crofts, as when the son of Leto bare the willow rod, and the soft sheep and shaggy goats followed the boyish god. Sing on, and Bacchus will be here, astride upon his gorgeous Indian throne, and over whimpering tigers shake the spear, with yellow ivy crowned and gummy cone, while at his side the wanton Bassarid will throw the lion by the mane and catch the mountain kid. Sing on, and I will wear the leopard skin, and steal the mooned wings of Ashtaroth, upon whose icy chariot we could win, Cytherean, in an hour ere the froth has overbrimmed the wine vat, or the fawn ceased from the treading, aye, before the flickering lamp of dawn has scared the hooting owlet to its nest, and warned the bat to close its filmy vans. Some Maenad girl with fine leaves on her breast will filch their beechnuts from the sleeping pans, so softly that the little nested thrush will never wake, and then with shrilly laugh and leap will rush. Down the green valley where the fallen dew lies thick beneath the elm, and count her store, till the brown satyrs in a jolly crew trample the loose strife down along the shore, and where their horned master sits in state, bring strawberries and bloomy plums upon a wicker crate. Sing on, and soon with passion wearied face through the cool leaves Apollo's lad will come. The Tyrian prince his bristled boar will chase adown the chestnut copse all abloom, and ivory-limbed, grey-eyed with a look of pride, after yon velvet-coated deer the virgin maid will ride. Sing on, and I, the dying boy, will see stain with his purple blood the waxen bell that overweighs the jacinth, and to me the wretched Cyprian her woe will tell. And I will kiss her mouth and streaming eyes, and lead her to the myrtle-hidden grove where Adon lies. Cry out loud on Itys, memory, that foster brother of remorse and pain. Drops poison in my ear. Oh, to be free, to burn one's old ships, and to launch again into the white-plumed battle of the waves, and fight old Proteus for the spoil of coral-flowered caves. Oh, for Medea, with her poppied spell. Oh, for the secret of Colchian shrine. Oh, for one leaf of that pale asphodel, which binds the tired brows of Proserpine. And sheds such wondrous dews at eve that she dreams of the fields of Enna by the far Sicilian sea. where oft the golden-girdled bee she chased from lily to lily on the level mead, ere yet her sombre lord had bid her taste the deadly fruit of that pomegranate seed, ere the black steeds had harried her away, down to the faint and flowerless land, the sick and sunless day. Oh, for one midnight, and as a paramour, the Venus of the little Melian farm, oh, that some antique statue for 1 hour might wake to passion, and that I could charm the dawn at Florence from its dumb despair, mix with those mighty limbs and make the giant breast my lair. Sing on, sing on. I would be drunk with life, drunk with the trampled vintage of my youth. I would forget the wearying wasted strife, the riven veil, the gorgon eyes of truth, the prayerless vigil, and the cry for prayer, the barren gifts, the lifted arms, the dull, insensate air. Sing on, O feathered Niobe. Thou canst make sorrow beautiful, and steal from joy its sweetest music, not as we, who by dead, voiceless silence strive to heal our too untented wounds, and do but keep pain barricaded in our hearts, and murder pillowed sleep. Sing louder yet. Why must I still behold the wan, white face of that deserted Christ, whose bleeding hands my hands did once enfold, whose smitten lips my lips so oft have kissed, and now in mute and marble misery sits in his lone, dishonored house and weeps perchance for me? O memory, cast down thy wreathed shell. Break thy hoarse lute, O sad Melpomene. Break thy hoarse lute, O sad Melpomene. O sorrow, sorrow, keep thy cloistered cell, nor dim with tears this limpid castelet. Nor dim with tears this limpid castelet. Cease, Philomel, thou dost the forest wrong, to vex its sylvan quiet with such wild, impassioned song. Cease, cease, or if 'tis anguish to be dumb, take from the pastoral thrush her simpler air, whose jocund carelessness doth more become this English woodland than thy keen despair. Ah, cease, and let the north wind bear thy lay back to the rocky hills of Thrace, the stormy Daudalian Bay. The stormy Daulian Bay. A moment more, the startled leaves have stirred. A moment more, the startled leaves had stirred. Endymion would have passed across the mead. Moonstruck with love, and this still Thames had heard Pan plash and paddling, groping for some reed to lure from her blue cave that Naiad made, who for such piping listens half in joy and half afraid. A moment more, the waking dove had cooed, the silver daughter of the silver sea, with the fond gyves of clinging hands had wooed her wanton from the chase, and Dirope had thrust aside the branches of her oak to see the lusty golden-haired lad rein in his snorting yoke. A moment more, the trees had stooped to kiss pale Daphne, just awakening from the swoon of tremulous laurels. Lonely Salmacis had barred his barren beauty to the moon, and through the veil was sad voluptuous smile. Antinous had wandered and red lotus of the Nile, down leaning from his black and clustering hair to shade those slumberous eyelids, caverned to bliss, or else on yonder grassy slope with bare, high tunicked limbs unravished Artemis had bade her hounds give tongue and roused the deer from his green ambuscade with shrill hollow and prickling spear. Hey, Bug Skipper, welcome in. Lie still, O passionate heart, lie still. O melancholy, fold thy raven wing. O sobbing dryad, from thy hollow hill, come not with such desponded answering. No more thou, winged Marsyas, complain. Apollo loveth not to hear such troubled songs of pain. It was a dream. The glade is tenantless. No soft Ionian laughter moves the air. The Thames creeps on in sluggish leadenness, and from the copse left desolate and bare, fled is young Bacchus with his revelry. Yet still from Nuneham wood there comes that thrilling melody. So sad that one might think a human heart break in each separate note, a quality which music sometimes has, being the art which is most nigh to tears and memory. Poor mourning Philomel, what dost thou fear? Thy sister doth not haunt these fields, Pandion is not here. Here is no cruel lord with murderous blade, no woven web of bloody heraldries, but mossy dells for roving comrades made, warm valleys where the tired student lies with half-shut book and many a winding walk, where rustic lovers stray at eve in happy, simple talk. The harmless rabbit gambols with its young across the trampled towing path, where late a troop of laughing boys is jostling throng, cheered with their noisy cries the racing eight, the gossamer with ravelled silver threads works at its little loom, and from the dusky red eaved sheds of the lone farm a flickering light shines out, where the swinked shepherd drives his bleating flock back to their waddled sheepcotes. A faint shout comes from Oxford boat at Sandford Lock, and starts the moorhen from the sedgy rill, and the dim lengthening shadows flit like swallows up the hill. The heron passes homeward to the mere, the blue mist creeps among the shivering trees. Gold world by world the silent stars appear, and like a blossom blown before the breeze, a white moon drifts across the shimmering sky. Mute arbitress of all thy sad, thy rapturous threnody. I don't know that word. Plural. A poem, speech, or song of lamentation. Lamentation. Especially for the dead. Dirge, funeral song. Pronunciation. We shall see. Threnody. Threnody. Like melody, but threnody. Okay. Do an exclamation point word mods when you have a chance. Mute arbitress of all thy sad, thy rapturous threnody. Yeah, it's got a feel for it. The bone collar. What is best in life? I feel like that's a very complicated question. Happiness, perhaps? Joy? Meaning? To each their own something meaning. What is best in life? I don't know. A good sandwich. A good sandwich is always best. Something loaded with whatever makes you happy. Like a tuna melt. To cross your enemy, see them. Yes. And hear the lamentations of his. Yep, okay, fair. To cross your enemy, see him driven before you, and hear the lamentations of his women. Yes, yes. I was, in fact, making a Conan reference, but I thought you were being a more esoteric, perhaps, than the literal lines from Conan. Which, if you guys have not seen, I think it came out in the original Conan was like what, 1987? Long time ago. In the before times. She does not heed thee. Wherefore should she heed? She knows Endymion is not Endymion is not far away. 'Tis I whose soul is as the reed, which has no passage of its own to play, so pipes another's bidding. It is I, drifting with every wind on the wide sea of misery. Ah, the brown bird has ceased. One exquisite trill about the somber woodlands seems to cling, dying in music, else the air is still, so still that one might hear the bat's small wing wander and wheel above the pines, or tell each tiny dewdrop dripping from the bluebell's brimming cell. And far away, across the lengthening wold, across the willowy flats and thickets brown, Magdalen's tall tower tipped with tremulous gold marks the long high street of the little town, and warns me to return. I must not wait. Hark, 'tis the curfew booming from the bell at Christ Church gate. Yep, that was a bit of a long one. So, the burden of Itys. I feel in this poem, because I didn't really feel it in the first few. The first few felt, I wouldn't say boyish, but it felt like poetry that he would have done, not for himself, but poetry that he would have done for school or for an assignment, or, hey, write about this. And so it didn't feel like it had as much of himself in it. This one, the burden of Itys, it did. It had his melodious flow. It had his use. He uses words that are not common. Like he was just stringing pearls in a necklace of beautiful words. Like this felt better, like more closer resembling the feel, the texture, the value of his work in the Dorian Gray, the picture of Dorian Gray, more so than some of the poetry at the beginning of the poem or the book. This next section is called Wildflowers. And these ones appear to be somewhat shorter and therefore easier for me to read between, because I love starting being sick and starting with an epic poem that's like 10 pages long. My goodness. Sorry, you guys. You have to put up with all of my sickly sounds. So this next one from Wildflowers, I'm going to call that a chapter, is titled The Impression of Du Matin. The Thames nocturne of blue and gold changed to a harmony in grey. A barge with ochre-coloured hay dropped from the wharf, and chill and cold. The yellow fog came creeping down the bridges till the houses' walls seemed changed to shadows, and St. Paul's loomed like a bubble over the town. Then suddenly arose the clang of waking life. The streets were stirred with country wagons, and a bird flew to the glistening roofs and sang. But one pale woman all alone, the daylight kissed her wan hair, loitered beneath the gas lamp's flare, with lips of flame and heart of stone. Interesting. So this next one is Magdalene Walks. The little white clouds are racing over the sky, and the fields are strewn with the gold of the flower of March. The daffodil breaks underfoot, and the tasseled larch sways and swings as the thrush goes hurrying by. A delicate odor is borne on the wings of the morning breeze, the odor of deep wet grass and of brown new furrowed earth. The birds are singing for joy of the spring's glad birth, hopping from branch to branch on the rocking trees. And all the woods are alive with the murmur and sound of spring. And the rosebud breaks into pink on the climbing briar. And the crocus bed is a quivering moon of fire, girdled round with the belt of an amethyst ring. And the plain to the pine tree is whispering some tale of love, till it rustles with laughter and tosses its mantle of green, and the gloom of the wych elm's hollow is lit with the iris sheen of the burnished rainbow throat and the silver breast of a dove. See, the lark starts up from his bed in the meadow there, breaking the gossamer threads in the nets of dew, and flashing adown the river a flame of blue. The kingfisher flies like an arrow and wounds the air. And the sense of my life is sweet, though I know that the end is nigh. For the ruin and rain of winter will shortly come. The lily will lose its gold, and the chestnut bloom in billows of red and white on the grass will lie. And even the light of the sun will fade at the last, and the leaves will fall, and the birds will hasten away, and I will be left in the snow of a flowerless day, to think on the glories of spring and the joys of youth long past. Yet be silent, my heart. Do not count it a profitless thing to have seen the splendor of sun and of grass and of flower, to have lived and loved, for I hold that to love for an hour is better for man and for woman than cycles of blossoming spring. So before we continue on, I wanted to start getting some shout outs so you guys can more easily follow my gen mates if you're interested. So we're going to watch a clip of Erosita. Hopefully.
Nice, honestly. That's what I've been needing. Oh my.
Oh my. Oh my. I'm not sure what game she was playing there, but yes, that was Erosita. It's supposed to, when I shout somebody out, it's supposed to like put the little blurb in the chat. So that did not happen. So just, we'll do it this way. we'll do it this way. Hopefully. There you go. I don't know. I've got to get that bot configured. Anyway, so that was Erosita, which I highly recommend. Celestia Bubble, variety streamer, hilarious, super sweet lady. Definitely recommend. I think their next stream will be on Friday. I think according to their schedule, they have posted on Underrealm. If you're not already there we go. If you're not already on their Discord, that is it right there. I hang out there sometimes. So if you guys want to come check out, a bunch of nerds playing video games like Valorant or Valheim or something, you should join the Discord. I think Luca might still be streaming, so it might be a little rude. Luca. Helps if I spell things correctly. Bless. There we go. Okay, it is just a U. There we go. So this is Luca. Like I said, they are primarily a horror gaming streamer.
He died.
Goodbye, Wolfie.
I think Wolfie died.
Wolfie?
He's dying slowly for sure.
No, he's alive.
Oh.
We
Oh,
love
yeah,
our
let's go
lethal
get those items.
company.
I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.
Interesting. There we go. So quick access for you guys if you want to give them a follow. I should be able to do 2 more here after a brief respite of reading. Lethal Company burned out so fast, but it is so much fun every time I get to play it. Lately, I've only played it a handful of times, but I've played it with Screw Chaos, which is a sheep VTuber. They are one of the cutest, sweetest ladies that I have met on the internet. I highly recommend their content. Okay, so this next poem is titled Athanasia. Athanasia. I think that is the proper pronunciation. We'll do our best. From Wildflowers, Athanasia. To that gaunt house of art which lacks for naught of all the great things men have saved from time, the withered body of a girl was brought, dead ere the world's glad youth had touched its prime, and seen by lonely Arabs lying hid in the dim womb of some black pyramid. Straight bars. But when they had unloosed the linen band which swathed the Egyptian's body, lo, was found, closed in the wasted hollow of her hand, a little seed which sown in English ground did wondrous snow of starry blossoms bear, and spread rich odors through our springtide air. With such strange arts this flower did allure, that all forgotten was the asphodel, and the brown bee, the lily's paramour, forsook the cup where he was wont to dwell. For not a thing of earth it seemed to be, but stolen from some heavenly Arcady. In vain the sad Narcissus, wan and white, at its own beauty hung across the stream. The purple dragonfly had no delight with its gold dust to make its wings a gleam. Ah, no delight the jasmine bloom to kiss, or brush the rain pearls from the Eucharis. For love of it, the passionate nightingale forgot the hills of Thrace and cruel king, and the pale dove no longer cared to sail through the wet woods at time of blossoming, but round this flower of Egypt sought to float with silvered wing and amethystine throat. While the hot sun blazed in his tower of blue, a cooling wind crept from the land of snows, and the warm south with tender tears of dew drenched its white leaves when Hesperos uprose. Amid those sea-green meadows of the sky on which the scarlet bars of sunset lie. But when over wastes of lily-haunted field the tired birds had stayed their amorous tune, and broad and glittering like an argent shield, high in the sapphire heavens hung the moon, did no strange dream of evil memory make each tremulous petal of its blossoms shake. Ah, no. To this bright flower 1,000 years seemed but the lingering of a summer's day. It never knew the tide of cankering fears which turn a boy's gold hair to withered gray. The dread desire of death it never knew, or how all folk that they were born must rue. For we to death with pipe and dancing go, nor would we pass the ivory gate again. As some sad river wearied of its flow, through the dull panes the haunts of common men, leaps lover-like into the terrible sea, and counts it gain to die so gloriously. We mar our lordly strength in barren strife, with the world's legions led by clamorous care. It never feels decay, but gathers life from the pure sunlight and the supreme air. We live beneath time's wasting sovereignty. It is the child of all eternity. See what I mean? That like tangible something that Oscar Wilde has in this section that it seemed missing, I suppose, from the previous poetry. Pardon. Drink some more water here. Well, I know I've been drinking water very seriously because I just finished my water bottle. So, as long as this next one's not too long. No, it's not. Where are we at? We're not really due for a poem. Well, we're about 15 minutes out from an ad break, so let me read a couple more poems and then we'll go on a 3-minute break and I'll go get more water because I am a weenie and I need water to survive. In the meantime, let me open this ginger ale. Oh, it tickles my nose. Pardon. All right, here we go. This next poem is titled Serenade. For music, whatever that means. The western wind is blowing fair across the dark Aegean Sea, and at the secret marble stair by Tyrian galley waits for thee. Come down, The purple sail is spread, the watchman sleeps within the town. O leave thy lily-flowered bed, O lady mine, come down, come down. She will not come, I know her well. Of lovers' vows she hath no care, and little good a man can tell of one so cruel and so fair. True love is but a woman's toy, they never know the lover's pain. And I, who loved as loves a boy, must love in vain, must love in vain. O noble pilot, tell me true, is that the sheen of golden hair, or is it but the tangled dew that binds the passion flowers there? Good sailor, come and tell me now, is that my lady's lily hand, or is it but the gleaming prow, or is it but the silver sand? No, no, 'tis not the tangled dew, 'tis not the silver-fretted sand, it is my own dear lady true, with golden hair and lily hand. O noble pilot, steer for Troy, good sailor, ply thy labouring oar. This is the queen of life and joy, whom we must bear from
Hydrate or
Grecian
dihydrate?
shore. Grecian shore. Hi, Yuki. The waning sky grows faint and blue, it wants an hour still of day. Aboard, aboard, my gallant crew, O lady mine, away, away! O noble pilot, steer for Troy, good sailor, ply the labouring oar. O loved as only loves a boy, O loved forever, evermore. Staying hydrated. For those of you not aware, Yuki was in the video that I showed you all earlier today, is one of my Gen 2 mates, collabs, homies, generation. I don't know. Yuki is that really sweet baker snow leopard. So if you guys aren't already following Yuki, I highly recommend you give them a follow, check out their content. I don't know how well our time schedules will ever allow us to do collabs, but I will look forward to the day that we can have cat girl collabs. It'll be a good time. All right, we are on to the next poem, and then we'll go on a short break, and I will refill my water bottle. This next poem is titled The Endymion, for music. The apple trees are hung with gold, and birds are loud in Arcady. The sheep lie bleeding in the fold, the wild goat runs across the wold. But yesterday his love he told, I know he will come back to me. O rising moon, O lady moon, be you my lover's sentinel. You cannot choose but know him well, for he is shod with purple shoon. You cannot choose but know my love, for he a shepherd's crook doth bear, and he is soft as any dove, and brown and curly is his hair. The turtle now has ceased to call upon her crimson-footed groom. The grey wolf prowls about the stall, the lilies singing seneschal. You read a word so many times and it's like, how does that go? Seneschal? Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I know the word's definition, I do not know how to pronounce it. Seneschal. There we go. An officer having full charge of domestic arrangements, ceremonies, the administration of justice in the household of medieval prince or dignitary steward. Seneschal. That is how you pronounce that. Okay. The lily singing seneschal sleeps in the lily bell and all. The violet hills are lost in gloom. O risen moon, O holy moon, stand on the top of Hellas, and if my own true love you see, ah, if you see the purple shoon, the hazel crook, the lad's brown hair, the goat skin wrapped around about his arm, tell him that I was waiting where the rushlight glimmers in the farm. The falling dew is cold and chill, and no bird sings in Arcady. The little fawns have left the hill, even the tired daffodil has closed its gilded doors, and still my lover comes not back to me. False moon, O waning moon, where is my own true lover gone? Where are the lips vermilion, the shepherd's crook, the purple shoon? Why spread that silver pavilion? Why wear the veil of drifting mist? Ah, thou hast young Endymion, thou hast the lips that should be kissed. Interesting. Hi, lovely. I hope you are well. I'll be here lurking, listening to your... Oh, well, I don't know how soothing it is when I'm sick, but I'll do my best. So we are on to La Bella Donna della Mia Mente. La Bella Donna della Mia Mente. That's got Italian written all over it. My limbs are wasted with a flame. My feet are sore with traveling. For calling on my lady's name, my lips have now forgot to sing. O linnet, in the wild rose brake, strain for my love thy melody. O lark, sing louder for love's sake, my gentle lady passeth by. O almond blossoms, bend adown until ye reach her drooping head. O twining branches, weave a crown of apple blossoms white and red. She is too fair for any man to see or hold his heart's delight, fairer than queen or courtesan, or moonlit water in the night. Her hair is bound with myrtle leaves, green leaves upon her golden hair. Green grasses through the yellow sheaves of autumn corn are not more fair. Her lips, her little lips, more made to kiss than to cry bitterly for pain, are tremulous as brook water is, or roses after evening rain. Her neck is like white melilote. Her neck is like white melilote, flushing for pleasure of the sun. The throbbing of the linnet's throat is not so sweet to look upon as a pomegranate cut in twain, white-seated in her crimson mouth. Her cheeks are as the fading stain, where the peach reddens to the south. O twining hands, O delicate, white body made for love and pain, O house of love, O desolate, pale flower beaten by the rain. God can bring winter unto May, and change the sky to flame and blue, or summer corn to gold from gray. One thing alone he cannot do. He cannot change my love to hate, or make thy face less fair to see, though now he knocketh at the gate, with life and death for you and me. Yeah. Yep, Oscar Wilde did it again. That one's really pretty. I like the line, O twining hands, O delicate, white body made for love and pain, O house of love, O desolate, pale flower beaten by the rain. Like it elicits such imagery, and he's just laying down those lines like there's nobody's business. Okay, we are kind of at a stopping point between this poem and the next one. I desperately need more water. So hang in there, everyone. I'm going to go on a quick 3-minute break, fill up my water bottle, use the restroom, and when I come back, we shall continue where we left off. So, allez-oop, I will be back. Okay, we should be back. I took some more cough medicine, so hopefully that should suppress some of the background coughing. All right, everyone. Let's get started with I'm trying, Lasada, I'm trying. I am taking in as much protein as I can in the form of stab, stab. That's an order. I am trying to take in as more protein in the form of protein shakes, and just heavy food doesn't hit right now. In fact, I'll probably try and do some tomato soup for dinner. Is the acidity good? But it's easy to eat. Hey, Ken. Yay, it does be reading time. For all of you that weren't here earlier, Ken Arashi, like Yuki Sukamori, are both part of my gen mates. Speaking of which, let's give Yuki a quick shout out here. Since I'm between anyway, this is a good time. There we go. So I noticed that it's not pinging the way it's supposed to, but at least it's playing the videos.
And so do I. Okay.
Oh, is this Paper Mario? Heck yeah.
You gotta do the opposite of what you do to dicks. I had to think about it.
The Mario hats with the mustache is where it's at. So shout. I'll have to configure the the shout out players not pinging the way it's supposed to, and then you guys have got to see. I hope it pulls a recent favorite clip, because Ken's got some good clips. He got one of me yesterday. It's just, like, is this what you want? Is this what you wanted? Oh, your old model.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Glad to see that the plushy shark stuck around.
What was that? Did a bomb go off in your vicinity?
And that must be Tebow right there.
Close enough.
What the fuck happened? Are you okay?
That was cool. Not Tebow? I just saw a little person with red hair and assumed. Ah, okay. But yeah, if you guys are not already following Ken, chaos, humor. I gotta wait 50 seconds? That's some malarkey. Oh, wait, I can wait 50 seconds. Stupid shout out. Stupid player. It's all annoyance. The clip is ridiculous because you can hear a distant boom light up from her mic. And I'm like, what the fuck? I hope everything was okay. Well, yes, indeed. What happens when you assume that makes an ass out of you and me? Indeed. I'm ready with that shouty. Try it again. Haha! It worked! Excellent. Yes. So Ken, like I said, is one of my gen mates. Shark VTuber, variety streamer, gamer, yapper. He's got the most incredible sense of humor, you guys. If you're not following Ken, you need to. He is a riot. And also incredibly invaluable resource for like knowing how to do stuff and streaming stuff. He helped Aloria set up her cheese redeem. And I got to be like a fly on the wall and like watch that process happen. So now when you redeem the cheese on her channel, it does the wham cheese. It's got the video of him slamming the block of cheese on the table, and it also the sound of a smack of a piece of cheese. It's flung and smacks her in the face. It just I found that months ago and I was like, you have to do these two things. And then Ken made it happen. It was so funny. It's so good. It's so good. They were streaming earlier today. I think they raided into Red Lethal Panda, but yeah. Yeah, Ken's been killing himself playing that Get Over It game. And I'm just like, could not be me. Need help setting up any redeem? Yep. Okay. I'm not quite there yet, but I do need to figure out how to do like the studio, the VTube studio, like how to make things big and small, and like add the redeems in the stream deck and all that stuff. And that's gonna be like a whole weekend project. I'm not there yet. We're not there. We haven't even done the reveal yet, so it's gonna be a minute. Okay. We are here. We have shouty outied. Let's get back to the poetry. So we're still in Wildflowers, I guess, section, chapter. I don't know. Poetry gets a little weird. I am trying. I wanted to do a little bit of reading today, and I feel okay. Coughing notwithstanding. But I definitely am starting to feel it more in my lungs more than anything. I think it's just because I'm yapping. You know? So, we do our best. This next poem is titled Chanson. A ring of gold and milk white and a milk white dove are goodly gifts for thee, and a hempen rope for your own love to hang upon a tree. Oof. For you a house of ivory, roses are white in the rose bower, a narrow bed for me to lie, white, oh white, is the hemlock flower. Myrtle and jessamine for you, oh the red rose is fair to see, or me the cypress and the rue, fairest of all is rosemary. For you 3 lovers of your hand, green grass where a man lies dead. For me 3 paces on the sand, plant lilies at my head. That's dark. So this would be Charmides, I think. So we're in a new section. Oh, this one's a beefy. This one's a beefy. I think me reading this is probably gonna, this one's gonna do it. Yeah, oh yeah. All right. Stretch. Remember to unbanana yourselves. No shrimps in chat. Wait. I'm sorry, you have a what? Oh, you've got a mankini just like a bug skipper does? Oh, Jesus, Murphy.
Hydrate or dihydrate?
I don't know what's more cursed. Almontis recently got a sock puppet model, or the Furby models that are done by Sabrina Scissor Runner. Both of these are so brilliantly made and so terrifying to look at. Just in the best possible way. All right, so I will hydrate, as you say. I also just found out last night that I won the Sino the Crocodile did a let me pull that up here real quick. That's gonna be on Twitter. Oh yeah, he's got an Etsy. The Croco Loaf plushie. I have one of those. It's so great. Ugh, I hate Twitter. Yeah, the Crocoloafs are great, both the new one and the old one. Aha! Okay. So I won. Da 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 da. I am the wiener. He's gonna do an animated screen for me. He has the best animated screen of like him riding in a box down the street, and Nikto did the music for it. It's dun 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 dun. I'm gonna have to yeah, this one. I'm gonna commission Nikto so I can do music for it. So whatever, I'm just gonna let Sino cook. I'm like, here's model, check, here are the color palettes. You magic, do whatever you want to do. Yeah. I love that that initial animated screen. So I'm gonna so he's doing this, and then once he's done with that, I'll commission Nikto to do some sort of fun little music at the beginning too. Like Sino's like, so do you want like a what is her name? Drawing a blank. Sailor Moon opening where like you're spinning and it like illuminates, and I'm like, no, I don't. I just want something simple. But he's gonna just have fun with it. And I think when you get to let creatives do whatever they want, it's like, here are some very, very bare bones structure, and then you do your magic, because part of what makes their art so good is just letting them cook, you know? Anyway, we're here. Charmides. This is going to be an epic. Okay, and how much? I've got over an hour, so we should be good. We should be good. Big, deep gulps of water. The raffle that you got was, here's the ref sheet, here's the outfit, the rest is just go to town. Fair. Okay. So this next poem is called Charmides. Part 1. He was a Grecian lad who, coming home with pulpy figs and wine from Sicily, stood at his galley's prow and let the foam blow through his crisp brown curls unconsciously, and holding wave and wind in boy's despot, peered from his dripping seat across the wet and stormy night. Till, with the dawn, he saw a burnished spear like a Oh, thanks for the follow, Egg.
Fantastic 96 just followed.
Till with the dawn he saw a burnished spear, like a thin thread of gold against the sky, and hoisted sail, and strained the creaking gear, and bade the pilot head her lustily against the nor'west gale, and all day long held on his sway, and marked the rower's time with measured song. And when the faint Corinthian hills were red, dropped anchor in a little sandy bay, and with fresh boughs of olive crowned his head, and brushed from cheek and throat the hoary spray, and washed his limbs with oil, and from the hold brought out his linen tunic and his sandals brazen-soled, and a rich robe stained with the fish's juice, which of some swarthy trader he had bought upon the sunny quay at Syracuse, and was with Tyrian broideries inwrought, and by the questioning merchants made his way up through the soft and silver woods, and when the laboring day had spun its tangled web of crimson cloud, combed the high hill, and with swift silent feet crept to the fane unnoticed by the crowd of busy priests, and from some dark retreat watched the young swains his frolic playmates bring, the firstling of their little flock, and the shy shepherd fling. the crackling salt upon the flame, or hang his studded crook against the temple wall, to her who keeps away the ravenous fang of the base wolf from homestead and from stall. And then the clear-voiced maidens 'gan to sing, and to the altar each man brought some goodly offering. Thanks for the warning, Ken. Good to know. A beechen cup, brimming with milky foam, a fair cloth wrought with cunning imagery of hounds in chase, a waxen honeycomb, dripping with oozy gold, which scarce the bee had ceased from building, a black skin of oil, meat for the wrestlers, a great boar the fierce and white-tusked spoil. A Luca love raid. And there's Debbie. Yep. That's a Gen 1. Luca Gen 2. Ken is raiding also. A Cantha Fate. A Luca birthday raid. Oh no. Hi Luca. A Luca love raid. We are raiding. Aw. Hydrate, hydrate. Lies! I love it. Hey Jules. Hello raiders. Welcome in. Hi everyone. I am not at my best today, but I am doing my best. For those of you not familiar, hi, my name is Vexing Cat. You can call me Vex or Vexing. Thank you for the follow. I primarily read classic literature and poetry here on Twitch, occasionally play video games. I'm also Gen 2, along with Ken and of course Luca, who has been kind enough to raid me today. I am currently reading, thank you for the follow. I am currently reading the poetical work of Oscar Wilde, best known for his full-length novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Hi, and there's Silly. Silly's birthday is coming up very soon. We'll have to do something special. But yes, welcome in raiders, welcome in. Be sure to hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, do whatever it is that you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourselves. Luca, I know you had a long stream of Minecraft today. I hope you were having lots of fun. I had to step out when I started streaming, but it was nice watching you play. So, I shall continue with Charmides. Sticked bug. That is a cute emote. Okay. Let's see. I'll make good on my own comment to hydrate. Had spun its tangled web of crimson cloud, clomb the high hill, and with swift, silent feet crept to the fane unnoticed by the crowd of busy priests, and from some dark retreat watched the young swains his frolic playmates bring, the firstling of their flock and the shy shepherd fling the crackling salt upon the flame, or hang his studded crook against the temple wall, to her who keeps away the ravenous fang of the base wolf from the homestead and from stall. And then the clear-voiced maidens 'gan to sing, and to the altar each man brought some goodly offering. A beechen cup brimming with milky foam, a fair cloth wrought with cunning imagery of hounds in chase, a waxen honeycomb, dripping with oozy gold, which scarce the bee had ceased from building, a black skin of oil, meat for the wrestlers, a great boar the fierce and white-tusked spoil, stolen from Artemis, that jealous maid, to please Athena, and the dappled hide of a tall stag who in some mountain glade had met the shaft, and then the herald cried, and from the pillared precinct one by one went the glad Greeks, well pleased that they their simple vows had done. And the old priest put out the waning fires, save the one lamp whose restless ruby glowed forever in the cell, and the shrill lyres came fainter on the wind as down the road in joyous dance these country folk did pass, and with stout hands the warder closed the gates of polished brass. Long time he lay, and hardly dared to breathe, and heard the cadenced drip of spilt out wine, and the rose petals falling from the wreath, as the night breezes wandered through the shrine, and seemed to be in some entranced swoon, till through the open roof above the full and brimming moon.
Rendo Zeros just followed.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Rendo Zeros. Silly Pixlexic Possum, that's a great name. Hig. Yes. Thank you all for the follows. We're going to hit that 1,000 much sooner than I anticipated. Flooded with sheeny waves the marble floor, wind from his nook upleapt the venturous lad, and flinging wide the cedarn carven door, beheld an awful image saffron clad, and armed for battle. The gaunt griffin glared from the huge helm, and the long lance of wreck and ruin flared like a red rod of flame, stony and steeled. The Gorgon's head its leaden eyeballs rolled, and writhed its snaky horrors through the shield, and gaped aghast with bloodless lips and cold, impassioned, impotent, while with blind gaze the blinking owl between the feet hooded in shrill amaze. The lonely fisher, as he trimmed his lamp, far out at sea of Sunium o'ercast, the net for tunnies heard a brazen tramp of horses smite the waves, and a wild blast divide the folded curtains of the night, and knelt upon the little poop and prayed in holy fright. And guilty lovers in their venery forgat a little while their stolen sweets, deeming they heard dread Dian's bitter cry, and the grim watchmen on their lofty seats ran to their shields in haste precipitate, or strained black-bearded throats across the dusky parapet. For round the temple rolled the clang of arms, and the 12 gods leapt up in marble fear, and the air quaked with dissonant alarms. Alarms? What a weird spelling for alarms. And the air quaked with dissonant alarms, till huge Poseidon shook his mighty spear, and on the frieze the prancing horses neighed, and the low tread of hurrying feet rang from the cavalcade. Ready for death, with parted lips he stood, and well content at such a price to see that calm, wide brow, that terrible maidenhood, the marvel of that pitiless chastity. Ah, well content indeed, for never wight, since Troy's young shepherd prince, had seen so wonderful a sight. Ready for death he stood, but lo, the air grew silent, and the horses ceased to neigh. And off his brow he tossed the clustering hair, and from his limbs he threw the cloak away, and from whom would not such love make desperate? And nigher came, and touched her throat, and with hands violate undid the cuirass and the crocus gown, and bared the breasts of polished ivory, till from the waist the peplos falling down left visible the secret mystery, which to no lover will Athena show. The grand, cool flanks, the crescent thighs, the bossy hills of snow. Those who have never known a lover's sin, let them not read my ditty. It will be to their dull ears so museless and thin. So musicless and thin, that they will have no joy of it, but ye, to whose wan cheeks now creeps the lingering smile, ye who have learned who Eros is, oh listen yet a while. A little space he let his greedy eyes rest on the burnished image, till mere sight half swooned for surfeit of such luxuries, and then his lips in hungering delight fed on her lips, and round the towered neck he flung his arms, nor cared at all his passion's will to check. Never, I ween, did lover hold such tryst, for all night long he murmured honeyed words, and saw her sweet unravished limbs and kissed her pale and argent body undisturbed, and paddled with the polished throat and pressed his hot and beating heart upon her chill and icy breast. It was as if Numidian javelins pierced through and through his wild and whirling brain, and his nerves thrilled like throbbing violins in exquisite pulsation, and the pain was such sweet anguish that he never drew his lips from hers till overhead the lark of warning flew. They, who have never seen the daylight peer in a darkened room and drawn the curtain, and with dull eyes and wearied for some dear and worshipped body risen they for certain, will never know of what I try to sing, how long the last kiss was, how fond and late his lingering. The moon was girdled with a crystal rim, the sign which shipmen say is ominous of wrath in heaven. The wan stars were dim, and the low lightning east was tremulous with the faint fluttering wings of flying dawn, ere from the silent somber shrine this lover had withdrawn. Down the steep rock with hurried feet and fast clomb the brave lad, and reached the cave of Pan, and heard the goat-foot snoring as he passed, and leapt upon a grassy knoll, and ran like a young fawn unto an olive wood, which in a shady valley by the well-built city stood, and sought a little stream, which well he knew, for oftentimes with boyish careless shout the green and crested grebe he would pursue, or snare in woven net the silver trout. And down amid the startled reeds he lay, panting in breathless sweet affright, and waited for the day. On the green bank he lay, and let one hand dip in the cool dark eddies listlessly. And soon the breath of morning came, and fanned his hot flushed cheeks, or lifted wantonly the tangled curls from off his forehead, while he on the running water gazed with strange and secret smile. And soon the shepherd in rough woolen cloak with his long crook undid the wattled coats, and from the stack a thin blue wreath of smoke curled through the air across the ripening oats, and on the hill the yellow house-dog bayed, as though the crisp and rustling fern the heavy cattle strayed. And when the light-foot mower went afield across the meadows laced with threaded dew, and the sheep bleated on the misty weald, and from its nest the waking corncrake flew, some woodman saw him lying by the stream, and marveled much that any lad so beautiful could seem, nor deemed him born of mortals, and one said, "It is young Hylas, that false runaway, who with a naiad now would make his bed, forgetting Heracles." But others, nay, it is Narcissus, his own paramour, Those are the fond and crimson lips no woman can allure. And when they neared, came a third one cried. And when they nearer came, a third one cried, "It is young Dionysus, who has hid his spear and fawnskin by the river side, weary of hunting with the bassarid. And wise indeed were we away to fly. They live not long who on the gods immortal come to spy." So turned they back, and feared to look behind, and told the timid swain how they had seen amid the reeds some woodland god reclined, and no man dared to cross the open green. And on that day no olive tree was slain, nor rushes cut, but all deserted was the fair domain. Save when the neat herd's lad his empty pail, well slung upon his back, with leap and bound, raced on the other side and stopped to hail, hoping that he some comrade new had found, and gat no answer, and then half afraid, passed on his simple way, or down the still and silent glade. A little girl ran, laughing from the farm, not thinking of love's secret mysteries. And when she saw the white and gleaming arm, and all his manlyhood with longing eyes, whose passion mocked her sweet virginity, watched him a while, and then stole back sadly and wearily. Far off he heard the city's hum and noise, and now and then the shriller laughter where the passionate purity of brown-limbed boys wrestled or raced in the clear, healthful air, and now and then a little tinkling bell, as the shorn wether led the sheep down to the mossy well. Through the grey willows danced the fretful gnat, the grasshopper chirped idly from the tree, in sleek and oily coat the water rat, breasting the little ripples manfully. Made for the wild duck's nest. From bough to bough hopped the shy finch, and the huge tortoise crept across the slough. On the faint wind floated the silky seeds, as the bright scythe swept through the waving grass. The ouselcock splashed circles in the reeds, and flecked with silver whirls the forest glass. When scarce had caught again its imagery, ere from its bed the dusky tench leapt at the dragon-fly. But little care had he for anything, though up and down the beach the squirrel played, and from the copse the linnet began to sing. To her brown mate her sweetest serenade. Ah, little care indeed, for he had seen the breasts of Pallas and the naked wonder of the queen. But when the herdsman called his straggling goats with whistling pipe across the rocky road, and the shard beetle with its trumpet notes boomed through the darkening woods and seemed to bode of coming storm, and the belated crane passed homeward like a shadow, and the dull big drops of rain fell on the pattering fig leaves, up he rose, and from the gloomy forest went his way, past sombre homestead and wet orchard close, and came at last unto a little quay. Catch that, Jules? I said it correctly. Are you happy? And came at last unto a little quay, and called his mates aboard, and took his seat on the high poop, and pushed from land, and loosed the dripping sheet, and steered across the bay. And when 9 suns passed down the long and laddered way of gold, and 9 pale moons had breathed their orisons to the chaste stars their confessors, or told their dearest secret to the downy moth, that will not fly at noonday through the foam and surging froth, came a great owl with yellow sulphurous eyes, and lit upon the ship, whose timbers creaked as though the lading of 3 argosies. Argosies? For the rhyming scheme. As though the lading of 3 argosies were in the hold, and flapped its wings, and shrieked, and darkness straightway stole across the deep. Sheathed was Orion's sword, dread Mars himself fled down the steep, and the moon hid behind a tawny mask of drifting cloud, and from the ocean's marge rose the red plume, the huge and horned casque, the 7-cubit spear, the brazen targe, and clad in bright and burnished panoply, Athena strode across the stretch of sick and shivering sea. To the dull sailor's sight, her loosened locks seemed like the jagged storm rack, and her feet only the spume that floats on hidden rocks, and mocking how the rising waters beat against the rolling ship, the pilot cried to the young helmsman at the stern to loft to windward side. But he, the overbold adulterer, a dear profaner of great mysteries, an ardent amorous idolater, when he beheld those grand, restless eyes, laughed loud for joy, and crying out, "I come!" leapt from the lofty poop into the chill and churning foam, then fell from the high heaven one bright star. One dancer left the circling galaxy, and back to Athens on her clattering car, in all the pride of venged divinity. Pale Pallas swept with shrill and steely clank, and a few gurgling bubbles rose where her boy lover sank. And the mast shuddered as the gaunt owl flew with mocking hoots after the wrathful queen, and the old pilot bade the trembling crew hoist the big sail, and told how he had seen close to the stern a dim and giant form, and like a dipping swallow the stout ship dashed through the storm. And no man dared to speak of Charmides, deeming that he some evil thing had wrought. And when they reached the strait of Symplegades, these Greek names, I'm suffering. Symplegades. And when they reached the strait of Symplegades, they beached their galley on the shore, and sought the toll gate of the city hastily, and in the market showed their brown and pictured pottery. So that was part one of Charmides. How many?
Hydrate or dihydrate?
Yes, I will hydrate. I will do my best. Okay, we are Charmides. There's like 20. Do I have this in me? I might. Or 167, 82. There's 3 parts total. Charmides. Yeah, I think we're gonna finish Charmides today, and then we're gonna cut it off because I can definitely feel it in my chest. It's just a little rough. Remember, stay hydrated. Hake told me to, so I'm gonna. Lots of water. 1 second. Me. All right. We're definitely lower in pitch today, so we're doing our best. All right, so we're going to read part 2 and part 3 of Charmides, and then we will wrap it up for today because I am not trying to overdo and wreck my voice any more than it already is. Hey! We should have enough time to read all of that in 50 minutes, especially if I use up my snoozes. Huzzah! Charmides, part 2. Hi, Koran. Hope you're doing well. Good evening. I guess it would be good. Yeah, it's afternoon. Good afternoon. Charmides, part 2. But some good Triton god hath ruth and bear the boy's drowned body back to Grecian land, and mermaids combed his dank and dripping hair, and smoothed his brow, and loosened his clenching hand. Some brought sweet spices from far Araby, and others bade the Halcyon sing her softest lullaby. I wonder if pronunciation there is matching. From far Araby, maybe. Some brought sweet spices from far Araby, and others bade the Halcyon sing her softest lullaby. Makes sense. And when he neared his old Athenian home, a mighty billow rose up suddenly, upon whose oily back the clotted foam lay diapered in some strange fantasy, and clasping him unto its glassy breast, swept landward like a white-maned steed upon a venturous quest. Now, where Colonos leans unto the sea, there lies a long and level stretch of lawn. The rabbit knows it, and the mountain bee, for it deserts Hymettus, and the fawn is not afraid, for never through the day comes a cry ruder than the shout of shepherd lads at play. But often, from the thorny labyrinth and tangled branches of the circling wood, the stealthy hunter sees young Hyacinth hurling the polished disc, and draws his hood over his guilty gaze and creeps away, nor dares to wind his horn. Wind, it must be wind. Nor dares to wind his horn, or else at the first break of day. The dryads come and throw the leathern ball along the reedy shore, and circumvent some goat-eared Pan to be their seneschal. Their seneschal, for fear of bold Poseidon's ravishment, and loose their girdles with shy, timorous eyes, lest from the surf his azured arms and purple beard should rise. On this side and on that a rocky cave, hung with the yellow-belled laburnum, stands. Smooth is the beach, save where some ebbing wave leaves its faint outline etched upon the sands, as though it feared to be too soon forgot by the green rush its playfellow, and yet it is a spot. So small that the inconstant butterfly could steal the hoarded honey from each flower ere it was noon, and still not satisfy its over-greedy love. Within an hour a sailor boy, were he but rude enow, to land and pluck a garland for his galley's painted prow. Boop. There we go. Would almost leave the little meadow bare, for it knows nothing of great pageantry. Only a few narcissi here and there stand separate in sweet austerity. dotting the unmown grass with silver stars, and here and there a daffodil waves tiny scimitars. Hither the billow brought him, and was glad of such dear servitude, and where the land was virgin of all waters laid the lad upon the golden margent of the strand, and like a lingering lover oft returned to kiss those pallid limbs which once with intense fire burned. Ere the wet seas had quenched the holocaust, that self-fed flame, that passionate lusty head. Oh dear. Ere grisly death with chill and nipping frost had withered up those lilies white and red, which while the boy would through the forest range answered each other in a sweet antiphonal counterchange. I'm going to read that whole paragraph again. Ere the wet seas had quenched that holocaust, that self-fed flame, that passionate, lusty head, ere grisly death with chill and nipping frost had withered up those lilies white and red, which, while the boy would through the forest range, answered each other in a sweet antiphonal counterchange. Yeah, that one's pretty good. And when at dawn the wood nymphs hand in hand threaded the bosky dell, their satyr spied the boy's pale body stretched upon the sand, and feared Poseidon's treachery, and cried. And like bright sunbeams flitting through a glade, each startled dryad sought some safe and leafy ambuscade, save one white girl, who deemed it would not be so dread a thing to feel a sea god's arms crushing her breast in amorous tyranny, and longed to listen to those subtle charms insidious lovers weave when they would win some fenced fortress, and stole back again, nor thought it sin to yield her treasure unto one so fair, and lay beside him thirsty with love's deruth. Called him soft names, played with his tangled hair, and with hot lips made havoc of his mouth. Afraid he might not wake, and then afraid lest he might wake too soon, fled back, and then, fond renegade, returned to fresh assault, and all day long sat at his side, and laughed at her new toy, and held his hand, and sang her sweetest song, then frowned to see how forward was the boy, who would not with her maidenhead entwine, nor knew that 3 days since his eyes had looked on Proserpine, nor knew what sacrilege his lips had done, but said, he will awake, I know him well. He will awake at evening when the sun hangs his red shield on Corinth's citadel. This sleep is but a cruel treachery, to make me love him more, and in some cavern of the deeper than ever falls the fisher's line, already a huge Triton blows his horn, and weaves a garland from the crystalline, and drifting ocean tendrils too adorn the emerald pillars of our bridal bed. I'm going to say for sphered in foaming silver and with coral-crowned head. We two will sit upon a throne of pearl, and a blue wave will be our canopy, and at our feet the water snakes will curl in all their amethystine panoply of diamonded mail. Of diamonded mail, and we will mark the mullet swimming by the mast of some storm-foundered bark, vermilion-finned with eyes of bossy gold, like flakes of crimson light in the great deep, his glassy portaled chamber will unfold, and we will see the painted dolphin sleep, cradled by murmuring halcyons on the rocks, where Proteus in quaint suit of green pastures his monstrous flocks. And tremulous opal-hued anemones will wave their purple fringes where we tread upon the mirrored floor, and argosies of fishes flecked with tawny scales will thread the drifting cordage of the shattered wreck, and honey-colored ambered beads our twining limbs will deck. But when that baffled lord of war, the sun, with gaudy pennon flying passed away into his brazen house, and one by one the little yellow stars began to stray across the field of heaven, then indeed she feared his lips upon her lips would never care to feed, and cried, "Awake! Already the pale moon washes the trees with silver, and the wave creeps grey and chilly up this sandy dune. The croaking frogs are out, and from the cave the nightjar shrieks, the fluttering bats repass, and the brown stoat with hollow flanks creeps through the dusky grass. Nay, though thou art a god, be not so coy, for in yon stream there is a little reed that often whispers how a lovely boy lay with her once upon a grassy mead, who, when his cruel pleasure he had done, spread wings of rustling gold and soared aloft into the sun. Be not so coy. The laurel trembles still with great Apollo's kisses, and the fir, whose clustering sisters fringe the seaward hill, hath many a tale of that bold ravisher, whom men called Boreas, and I have seen the mocking eyes of Hermes through the poplar's silvery sheen. Even the jealous naiads call me fair, and every morn a young and ruddy swain woos me with apples and with locks of hair, and seeks to soothe my virginal disdain by all the gifts the gentle wood nymphs love. But yesterday he brought to me an iris-plumaged dove, with little crimson feet, which, with its store of 7 spotted eggs, the cruel lad had stolen from the lofty sycamore at daybreak, when her amorous comrade had flown off in search of buried juniper, which most they love, the fretful wasp, that earliest vintager. Of the blue of the yeah, it's getting rough. Of the blue grapes hath not persistency so constant as the simple shepherd boy. For my poor lips his joyous purity and laughing sunny eyes might well decoy a dryad from her oath to Artemis. For very beautiful is he, his mouth was made to kiss. His argent forehead, like a rising moon over the dusky hills of meeting brows, is crescent-shaped. The hot and Tyrian noon leads from the myrtle grove no goodlier spouse, for Cytherea, the first silky down, fringes his blushing cheeks, and his young limbs are strong and brown. And he is rich and fat, and fleecy herds of bleating sheep upon his meadows lie, and many an earthen bowl of yellow curds in his homestead for the thievish fly to swim and drown in. The pink clover mead keeps its sweet store for him, and he can pipe an oaten reed. And yet I love him not. It was for thee I kept my love. I knew that thou wouldst come to rid me of this pallid chastity. Thou fairest flower of the flowerless foam, of all the wide Aegean brightest star, of ocean's azure heavens where the mirrored planets are. I knew that thou wouldst come, for when at first the dry wood burgeoned and the sap of spring swelled in my green and tender bark, or burst to myriad multitudinous blossoming, which mocked the midnight with its mimic moons, that did not dread the dawn and first the thrush's rapturous tunes. Startled, the squirrel from its granary, and cuckoo flowers fringe the narrow lane. Through my young leaves a sensuous ecstasy crept like new wine in every mossy vein, throbbed with the fitful pulse of amorous blood. Throbbed with the fitful crept like new wine in every mossy vein, throbbed with the fitful pulse of amorous blood, and the wild winds of passion shook my slim stem's maidenhood. The trooping fawns at evening came and laid their cool black noses on my lowest boughs, and on my topmost branch the blackbird made a little nest of grasses for his spouse, and now and then a twittering wren would light on a thin twig which hardly bare the weight of such delight. I was the Attic shepherd's trysting place. Beneath my shadow Amaryllis lay, and round my trunk would laughing Daphne's chase the timorous girl, till tired out with play, she felt his hot breath stir her tangled hair, and turned and looked and fled no more from such delightful snare. Then come away unto my ambuscade, where clustering woodbine weaves a canopy, for amorous pleasance, and the rustling shade of Paphian myrtle seems to sanctify the dearest rites of love. There in the cool and green recesses of its farthest depth there is a pool, the owl's haunt, the wild bee's pasturage, for round its rim great creamy lilies float through their flat leaves in verdant anchorage, each cup a white-sailed, golden-laden boat, steered by a dragonfly. Be not afraid to leave this wan and wave-kissed shore. Surely this place was made for lovers such as we. The Cyprian queen, one arm around her boyish paramour, strays often there at eve, and I have seen the moon strip off her misty vestiture for young Endymion's eyes. Be not afraid. Endymion's eyes. It's so hard to say that, right? For young Endymion's eyes, be not afraid. The panther feet of Dian never tread that secret glade. Nay, if thou willst, back to the beating brine, back to the boisterous billow let us go, and walk all day beneath the hyaline, huge vault of Neptune's watery portico, and watch the purple monsters of the deep sport in ungainly play, and from his lair keen Xiphias leap. For if my mistress find me lying here, she will not rush or gentle pity show, but lay her boar spear down, and with austere, restless fingers string the cornel bow, and draw the feathered notch against her breast, and loose the arched cord. I, even now upon the quest, I hear her hurrying feet. Awake, awake, thou laggard in love's battle, once at least let me drink deep of passion's wine, and slake my parched being with the nectarous feast which even gods affect. Oh, come, love, come, still we have time to reach the cavern of thine azure home. Scarce had she spoken when the shuddering trees shook, and the leaves divided, and the air grew conscious of a god, and the grey seas crawled backward, and a long and dismal blare blew from some tasseled horn. A sleuth-hound bayed, and like a flame a barbed reed flew whizzing down the glade. And where the little flowers of her breast just break into their milky blossoming, this murderous paramour, this unbidden guest, pierced and struck deep in horrid chambering, and ploughed a bloody furrow with its dart, and dug a long red road, and cleft with winged death her heart. Sobbing her life out with a bitter cry, on the boy's body fell the dryad maid, sobbing for incomplete virginity, and raptures unenjoyed, and pleasures dead, and all the pain of things unsatisfied, and the bright drops of crimson youth crept down her throbbing side. Ah, pitiful it was to hear her moan, and very pitiful to see her die, ere she had yielded up her sweets or known the joy of passion, that dread mystery, which not to know is not to live at all, and yet to know is to be held in death's most deadly thrall. But as it happed, the queen of Cythera, who with Adonis all night long had lain with some shepherd's hut in Arcady, on team of silver doves and gilded wain, was journeying Paphos ward, high up afar, from mortal ken between the mountains and the morning star. And when low down she spied the hapless pair, and heard the Oread's faint despairing cry, whose cadence seemed to play upon the air, as though it were a viol. Hastily she bade her pigeons fold each straining plume, and dropped to earth, and reached the strand, and saw their dolorous doom. For as a gardener, turning back his head to catch the last notes of the linnet mows, with careless scythe too near some flower bed, and cuts the thorny pillar of the rose, and with the flower's loosened loveliness strews the brown mould, or as some shepherd lad in wantonness, driving his little flock along the mead, treads down two daffodils, which side by side have lured the ladybird with yellow breed, and made the gaudy moth forget its pride, treads down their brimming golden chalices, under light feet which were not made for such rude ravages. Or as a schoolboy, tired of his book, flings himself down upon the reedy grass, and plucks 2 water lilies from the brook, and for a time forgets the hour of the glass. Then wearies of their sweets, and goes his way, and lets the hot sun kill them. Even so these lovers lay. And Venus cried, "It is dread Artemis, whose bitter hand hath wrought this cruelty, or else that mightier maid whose care it is to guard her strong and stainless majesty upon the hill Athenian. Alas, that they who loved so well unloved into death's house should pass." So, with soft hands she laid the boy and girl in the great golden wagon tenderly, her white throat whiter than a moony pearl, just threaded with a blue vein's tapestry, had not yet ceased to throb, and still her breast swayed like a wind-stirred lily in ambiguous unrest. And each pigeon spread its milky van. The bright car soared into the dawning sky, and like a cloud the aerial caravan passed over the Aegean silently, till the faint air was troubled with the song from the wan mouths that called on bleeding Thammuz all night long. But when the doves had reached their wonted goal, when the wide stare of orbed marble dips its nose into the sea, her fluttering soul just shook the trembling petals of her lips, and passed into the void, and Venus knew that one fair maid the less would walk amid her retinue, and bade her servants carve a cedar chest, with all the wonder of this history, within whose scented womb their limbs should rest, where olive trees make tender the blue sky on the low hills of Paphos. And the fawn pipes in the noonday, and the nightingale sings on till dawn. Nor failed they to obey her hest, and ere the morning bee had stung the daffodil with tiny fretful spear, or from its lair the waking stag had leapt across the rill and roused the ousel, or the lizard crept. Athward the sunny rock, beneath the grass their bodies slept, and when day brake, within the silver shrine, fed by the flames of cressets tremulous, Queen Venus knelt and prayed to Proserpine, that she whose beauty made death amorous should beg a guerdon from her pallid lord, and let desire pass across dread Charon's icy ford. How long? It's okay. We got this. We're gonna do Charmides 3, and then we're gonna call it because I am waning fast. We're doing our best. Remember, everyone, hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, do whatever it is you need to. We got one more Charmides, part 3, and then we'll be hunting for someone to go raid. Speaking of, throw that up there. Is any of my wonderful human beings, let's see, Azarith's up, Nef's up. If Panda is still up in the next few minutes, I'm gonna go bother Panda. That'll work. Who is playing Tekken 8. Bit of a jump, but you guys have got to see Gen 1 one way or another, so we'll just keep that right there. We'll go bother Panda here in a few. Alright, so we are on to part 3 of Charmides. Mind you, he is dead, and was dead 3 days. And this dryad was like, yeah, he's still hot. He's a god. Yeah, I'm gonna fall in love with this guy. And then was slain by Artemis for breaking her vow of chastity. It's wild. It's wild. But, you know, that's Greek for you. The Greek legends are pretty tumultuous, I would say. Hold that thought 1 second. Not an ad break, but I'm gonna go fill up my water because I'm gonna need it, even for this little bit that's left. So I'll be right back. Okay. So I gave myself a little bit of a break there. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for me. So we'll go ahead and read the last part of Charmides, and then we'll go raid a Red Lethal Panda from Gen 1 of Underrealm. Aw, thank you. I need it. I'm in rough shape, so I will gladly take all the head pats. Okay.
Hydrate or dihydrate?
Hydrate or dihydrate. Okay. Yes, I will. Thank you, Koran. I will hydrate. One more. One more big gulp before before we get started here. Okay. So we are on to part 3 of Charmides. In melancholy moonless Acheron, far from the goodly earth and joyous day, where no spring ever buds, nor ripening sun weighs down the apple trees, nor flowery May checkers with chestnut blooms the grassy floor, where the thrushes sing and piping linnets mate no more. There, by a dim and dark Lethean well, young Charmides was lying wearily. He plucked the blossoms from the asphodel, and with its little rifled treasury, strewed the dull waters of the dusky stream, and watched the white stars founder, and the land was like a dream. When, as he gazed into the watery glass, and through his brown hairs curly tangled, scanned his own wan face, a shadow seemed to pass across the mirror, and a little hand stole into his, and warm lips timidly brushed his pale cheeks and breathed their secret forth into a sigh. Then turned he round his weary eyes and saw, and near and ever nigher still their faces came, and nigher ever did their young mouths draw, until they seemed one perfect rose of flame. And longing arms around her neck he cast, and felt her throbbing bosom, and his breath came hot and fast. And all his hoarded sweets were hers to kiss, and all her maidenhood was his to slay, and limb to limb in long and rapturous bliss their passion waxed and waned. Oh, why essay to pipe again of love too venturous reed? Enough that Eros laughed upon that flowerless mead. Too venturous poesy, oh, why essay to pipe again of passion? Fold thy wings over daring Icarus, and bid thy lay sleep hidden in the lyre's silent strings, till thou hast found the old Castalian rill, or from the Lesbian waters plucked drowned Sappho's golden quill. Enough that he whose life had been a fiery pulse of sin, a splendid shame, could in the loveless land of Hades glean one scorching harvest from those fields of flame, where passion walks with naked, unshod feet, and is not wounded. Ah, enough that once their lips could meet. Is that wild throb when all existences seemed narrowed to one single ecstasy, which dies through its own sweetness and the stress of too much pleasure, ere Persephone had bade them serve her by the ebon throne of the pale god who in the fields of Enna loosed her zone. Panda, what have you done? I was going to raid you. Oh, forsooth, why have you forsaken me? I am so sickly. Maybe we'll read Panda Raid. Oh, there's the lords of themselves. We've got Hugany, Red Lethal Panda, Wildosis, Infinite Stream Glitch unlocked. No! Absolutely not. Devi, Wilde is again. I spoke of Devi earlier, but Wildosis is also from Gen 1 of Underrealm, which we're gonna have to pick your brain, Wilde. We need to know what you need us to put in various places on our Twitch, on our Twitters, and our yada yada yada. I went ahead. Look. I made a thing. Ta-da! Exclamation Underrealm. Yes. Aw, you are so sweet, Panda. But okay. I will not apply any more pressure, but I was like, oh, I would like to know what I should add and make it better. But yes, so thank you for the raid. For you wonderful raiders, if you're not familiar with my content, one, I am very sick. And if you don't know what my voice normally sounds like, I am a shade of my normal voluminous, I don't know, a shade of my normal tones and intonation. Just struggling to quit this like pneumonia crud that's in my chest. But for those of you that have been here before, you know what I normally sound like. But anyway, hello raiders. My name is Vexing Cat. I am a booktuber. I read classical literature and poetry and occasionally play games. I have just recently been added to Underrealm as part of Gen 2. A number of Gen 2 has stopped by and a number of Gen 1 has stopped by to say hello. Because Panda has been so gracious and generous to share his folks with me, I will read a little more poetry from Oscar Wilde today. Oh yeah, these are all little baby poems. We'll do a couple of these, and then that way you won't feel too bad. We will not make you have to sit through another ad, but I will be reading out. But my plans have been foiled. They have been foiled by Panda's generosity. So, let's read a little bit from part, I don't know what number we're on, but Flowers of Gold. So this section, new section, and we will continue that, more of that next week. On Friday, I will be playing Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, which is a little bit easier on my lungs and my throat because there's less narration. Whereas this is just continuously me talking for hours. All right. So the Flowers of Gold, and the first poem will be so is Impressions a section? I see. Impressions is in two parts: Les Silhouettes and La Fuite de la Lune. There's been Greek, Italian, Latin, French. Oscar Wilde is infinitely more well-read and rounded of a person than I and my poor Americanness. Impressions, Part 1. Les Silhouettes. The sea is flecked with bars of grey. The dull dead wind is out of tune, and like a withered leaf the moon is blown across the stormy bay. Etched clear upon the pallid sand lies the black boat. A sailor boy clambers aboard in careless joy, with laughing face and gleaming hand. And overhead the curlews cry, where through the dusky upland grass the young brown-throated reapers pass like silhouettes against the sky. Ah, yes, the songs of my dogs. They too are singing to their people, lamenting the sounds of their empty food bowls, waiting for me to greet them with open arms and a cupful of food. Yes, huskies have their own language, their own song that is truly profound. Yes, yes. Okay, maybe. We shall see. Part 2 of Impressions. La Fuente de la Lune. To outer senses there is peace, a dreamy peace on either hand, deep silence in the shadowy land, deep silence where the shadows cease, save for a cry that echoes shrill from some lone bird disconsolate, a corncrake calling to its mate the answer from the misty hill. And suddenly the moon withdraws her sickle from the lightening skies, and to her sombre cavern flies, wrapped in a veil of yellow gauze. Good stuff. So, The Grave of Keats. Oh, this will be interesting. Rid of the world's injustice and his pain, he rests at last beneath God's veil of blue. Taken from life when life and love were new, the youngest of the martyrs here is lain, fair as Sebastian and as early slain. No cypress shades his grave, no funeral yew, but gentle violets weeping with the dew weave on his bones an ever-blossoming chain. O proudest heart that broke from misery, O sweetest lips since those of Mytilene, O poet-painter of our English land, thy name was writ in water, it shall stand, and tears like mine will keep thy memory green as Isabella did her basil tree. Rome. The next poem is Theocritus of Villanelle. Villanelle. I've never heard that word before. O singer of Persephone, in the dim meadows desolate dost thou remember Sicily? Still through the ivy flits the bee, where Amaryllis lies in state, O singer of Persephone. Samatha calls on Hecate, and hears the wild dogs at the gate. Dost thou remember Sicily? Still, by the light and laughing sea, poor Polypheme bemoans his fate, O singer of Persephone. And still, in boyish rivalry, young Daphnes challenges his mate. Dost thou remember Sicily? Slim Lacan keeps a goat for thee the jocund shepherds wait, O singer of Persephone, dost thou remember Sicily? Okay, I think we're on to one final poem. Yeah, because this next one, we'll read in the gold room and then we'll find someone. Since our plans, we have to stay flexible. We have to keep going. Where are we taking all of these wonderful people, I wonder? Who I'm following, and Okay. I think we'll bother Neff most likely, since I think most of our folks have either finished for the day, or I don't think I've ever had the. I mean, he's playing Rainbow Six, maybe Final Fantasy. Frolicking with Wolves. Nikto's playing some Valheim. Cleoide. Ooh, I don't think I've had, like, Orc Florist, so Kirill's streaming. Breaking all of the mugs in the cupboards for yummy minerals. I think we'll go bother. Yeah, I've got a few options here. None of them part of my family, but we'll make our do. Okay. In the Gold Room, a harmony from Flowers of Gold. Let's see. Her ivory hands on the ivory keys strayed in a fitful fantasy, like the silver gleam when the poplar trees rustled their pale leaves listlessly, or the drifting foam of a restless sea when the waves show their teeth in the flying breeze. Her golden hair fell on the wall of gold, like the delicate gossamer tangles spun on the burnished disk of the marigold, or the sunflower turning to meet the sun when the gloom of the dark blue night is done and the spear of the lily is aureoled. And her sweet red lips on these lips of mine burned like the ruby fire set in the swinging lamp of a crimson shrine, or the bleeding wounds of the pomegranate, or the heart of the lotus drenched and wet with the spilt out blood of the rose-red wine. Ooh, that one's tasty. That one's a good one to end on too. Okay, so, and then we'll start with Ballade de Marguerite next time on Dragon Ball Z. Or something, I don't know. Hopefully. Zucchine. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you. Yeah. It left me thirsty too. Ooh. Let's see. Art, gaming, art, gaming, sleeping. I think the Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England seems appropriate. So we'll go bother Neff, which, if you guys have not seen Neff before, Neff Dorath the Lorekeeper is probably
Hydrate or dihydrate.
one of the librarians, booktubers on Twitch that really inspires me as a creator. No hesitation to read whatever he feels like, and I think a little Brandon Sanderson humor and words would be a nice follow-up, I think. Which, side note, really a humorous thing to me, for those of you not familiar, Stephen King, amazing author, well written, like hugely verbose series of books, recently got canceled on Twitter because of something he said and tweeted, and I find it highly amusing that an author wouldn't know better in this day and age. But yes, if you want to know more, Google Stephen King banned off Twitter. It's not. He has no filter. Just he writes what he wants to write and does what he wants to do, and we just have to let him live his main character life. And that's that. All right. So we will be, let's do a little raid message. I'm thinking a raid followed by leaving the lovely lexicon. That would be good. Lexicon of Oscar Wilde. There we go. And then a period, and then we'll just da da da, followed by following with another raid. Copy. There we go. So that will be our raid message. And for all of you wonderful followers and listeners, the raid emote is available for everyone. So let's go bother Neff. And we'll bring him all of you wonderful listeners. You can hear his dulcet tones as he reads through Brandon Sanderson. So, everyone, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm sorry I have not been at my 100%. I love each and every one of you Librophiles, and I hope I'll see you all again on Friday for more Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. So, I'll do my best. Okay. Hang in there, everyone. We're going to raid out.